Hi everyone, thanks for clicking on the video to hear the information I have for you. Today we're going to be discussing what the right to garden law is and which states currently have the right to garden by law. Along with another state that has protection, the Food Act, which permits certain foods referred to as cottage foods to be produced in private homes and sold to the public. Start the video off with a like for me, please. I know it's kind of presumptuous, but a lot of people forget when they're getting a lot of interesting information, and the likes help YouTube to send it out to a lot more people who may be interested in pursuing the right to garden law for their state. Some who are gardeners and others who take out time to fight for important causes. Do you all remember back in 2021 through 2023, during the days of the pandemic, and people were concerned about the weakening of our nation's supply chain? Ships were being stuck in the Panama Canal, shelves were depleting, and similar problems in 2024 when the port workers were threatening to strike. Now in 2025, with new tariffs and possible rising prices and imports lessening, affecting our food security, not to mention, God forbid, any of these many new viruses take hold, making us susceptible to whatever and however food manufacturers want to feed us. I say no. The right to garden law becomes a necessity. Okay, so what is the right to garden law? It provides protection from local government of power to impose homeowners association style prohibitions and allow the act of self-sufficiency, which humans have been engaged in for thousands of years. It protects the right of property owners to grow vegetables, herbs, and fruits on private property. This law can be greatly beneficial to communities by providing food security, improving health, and protecting the environment. It also provides a secondary food source if there are supply chain issues or a job loss, which keeps you wanting. It's your security. Gardening can improve physical and psychological health. It can also help restore peace, strength, and dexterity, especially to the aging population. Gardens can provide an organic, pesticide food source for you and your family to eat. However, as of August of 2022, until the making of this video, only 2 states out of 50 had such laws. Imagine waking up one day to find out that growing your own food is suddenly illegal. Sounds outrageous, right? Yet, across the country, homeowners and urban gardeners have been fined due to local laws, harassed, and even forced to tear out their vegetable gardens due to these outdated zoning laws and overreaching regulations. Without the right to garden law, it may be illegal to grow your own food. Not everyone supports this freedom. Some lawmakers and special interest groups want to control how, when, and where you grow food, limiting your independence and forcing you to rely on commercial sources. Defend and know your rights, because food freedom is not a privilege, it's a necessity. If you do not fight for your right to garden, you could lose it. If you do not fight for your rights to garden, you could lose it. Just to unwind your curiosity, the 2 states that have the right to garden law is Florida and Illinois. Florida passed a statewide Vegetable Garden Protection Act on July 2019 that prohibits local government from banning vegetable gardens on residential properties. The law came after many years of legal battle by the Institute for Justice on the behalf of a Miami Shore couple. In July of 2021, Illinois law was crafted by the Environmental Council, Citizens Advocacy Center, and the Advocates for Urban Agriculture with the help of the Institute for Justice that protects home gardeners by allowing them to grow vegetable gardens in any part of the state to encourage and protect sustainable cultivation of fresh produce. As I mentioned earlier, there is yet another state that has protection. As far as I'm concerned, California is the forerunner. On January the 1st of 2013, the California Homegrown Food Act was passed. It allowed the cultivation of food plant in back or front yards for personal use. However, cities may make reasonable restrictions. The Food Act also allows certain foods known as cottage foods to be made in private homes and sold to the public. In California, the cottage foods are non-hazardous foods that are shelf-stable and don't require refrigeration. It includes baked goods like cookies, bread, and pastries, candies like brittle, toffee, and chocolate-covered nuts, dry foods like fruits, pastas, and cereals, jams, jellies, and preserves, nut butters and nut mixes, syrups like honey and sweet sorghum syrup, extracts with at least 70 proof alcohol, powdered drink mixes, vinegars, and mustards. I checked for Indiana where I live, and we have a cottage food list also. If you want to make some extra money, check the list for your state, and also check the restrictions. This can be done at the Department of Public Health page for your state, or just Google it. Comment below if you've ever heard of the food cottage list, or if you plan to use it to make extra money, and what items you might consider selling. Be sure to watch my previous video. They say that gardening is bad for the environment. There'll be a link in the description. Just click on the More button and you'll see the link. Now, without the right to garden law in your state, there is still support for growing your own food, such as local laws, development policies, and community-led strategies can support growing foods along with the ability to adopt ordinances that classify community gardens as permitted, or by right uses can remove regulatory barriers. To assist us, there is the Model Vegetable Garden Protection Act, created on August the 4th of 2020. The Act purpose is to encourage and protect the sustainable cultivation of fresh produce at all levels of production, including on residential property for personal consumption or non-commercial sharing. I'll put a link in the description area so you can check out the Vegetable Garden Protection Act. If you're interested in getting the right to garden law for your state, from what I see, you may want to start with the Institute for Justice, the Environmental Council, the Citizens Advocacy Center, the Advocates for Urban Agriculture, and your state legislator.